Hi everyone, this is Yu Tsai. Welcome to Let's Talk. And I'm so excited to be back this week again with amazing guests. And this week, we're starting up with someone who has inspired me so much. We have never met, but her work is boundaryless across the world out in the photography and fashion world. We all know her. It's a dynamic duo, Inez and Vinoodh. And your work has been so incredible. So I'm so happy that you are here today, Inez. Nice to see you.
Thank you. It's so good to see you. It's so sweet to ask me. Wonderful.
Well, I saw this amazing initiative that you have started on Instagram called Double Dutch. And I want to jump right into that because everybody's asking me, what is Double Dutch and how can the artist industry can get involved?
Oh, you're the best. So Double Dutch is, at the moment, it's an Instagram account that leads you to a sign up for our wait list for the app that's going to be launched in the fall. And the app is a cash gifting app. So basically think like Venmo for gifting. And the idea is that basically you want to send someone money. You choose a beautiful card, an e-card that we curate and have incredible artist collaborations with. And with that card, you send money, you can any amount to your friends, and your friends will have goals on the app that they're saving for or that they're working towards, and you're basically supporting your friends that way. So it's really, everyone right now needs cash. Everyone wants to give each other cash and help each other out, or even when it's a birthday, a Christmas, or just you're coming for dinner, just instead of flowers or another scented candle or a bottle of wine, you send each other cash. But because we're attaching art to it, and we have incredible artists already lined up as cards, it will feel very different to give cash because you're giving it with meaning because someone's actively saving for something, and you're giving it with art attached to it. So it's exciting.
Well, it's important to mention that this initiative came out of COVID. I know that during this time, a lot of us has a lot of downtime, and as a creative people, that it's very hard to stay non-creative. And I think it's so important that people know that through this hard time, a lot of amazing thing comes out of it, and do that self-reflection period, do that self-study. I love that. I read that you came up with this idea during this time, especially also recognizing that how much impact and footprint we're putting onto this earth when we give.
That's the thing. Like, we don't need more stuff. And, we started thinking about this a year ago, actually. And, when we started hearing how in America, like half of the population doesn't even have access to $400 in case of emergency. So there is a huge need for money. And we thought, how do we get money in people's pockets? And then on the other side, you see how much waste is accumulated in landfills each year. It's crazy. And especially people return gifts, after Christmas and all that endlessly. And that also ends up on landfills. So it's really a matter of, what do we need? Money. We don't need more stuff. So let's reduce waste by giving each other money with art attached to it, with meaning, finding a way to humanize money. It's the idea that, money is so transactional, and we want to, by adding art and adding specific goals that you want to use the money for, we want to make it feel good and have no shame about giving each other money. And especially with this crisis, when the COVID crisis happened, we all in the team said to each other, let's go, let's launch it faster than we planned, and let's go for it, and start with a waitlist sign up so that the people that are signing up now will have the first access to the app. They'll get the first set of amazing cards with art. We have incredible artists. We have Mauricio Catalan, we have Richard Prince, we have Derek Adams, we have a whole slew of young and emerging artists. That's the other part that's so incredible for us with this initiative now, is that we can finally, advocate for people that we believe in, young artists that we find all over the world on Instagram, whatever, and that we can really highlight their work, their work will get incredible exposure on the platform, on the app, and they'll make money by selling the card on the platform.
Well, it's important for people, those who would just join me, that this is Inez, and she's an incredible photographer. For those outside the industry may not know you, but for those in the industry, you are everybody. You're a name that everybody knows in the industry. And one of the things I think is important to touch up on is that not only is your work is so recognizable, your name and your kindness in this industry is well known. And with that, with this initiative, I think it's so important for those out there that you wish to own an amazing piece of art that's curated by Inez and Vinoodh. This is the opportunity, because one thing we love
to send it to each other, you know, and it's just a beautiful way to also like spark creativity and get young artists' names out there, and especially make sure that that people accumulate money as a safety net. You know, like that's the thing that worries me, that, you know, even look what happened. So many people lost their jobs. Like, it's very difficult to build up a certain financial backup. And this is the way to do it.
So this is a creative platform that where you can help not just within your own community, but through art, that you're spreading kindness and zero waste at all. It's all transactional and it's all donation based. Now there is a share profit for the artists. Can you talk about that for the artists who are contributing? How are they able to contribute and share?
Yeah, so it basically all like you go on the app and you buy a card for, let's say, $2, and like $1 goes to the platform, $1 goes to the artist. So it's a 50-50 share. But then each artist that has their art on the platform can choose whether they would like to keep the money for them, or whether they would give it to a charity.
That's amazing.
So what is wonderful with that is that in that way, we will accumulate a list of vetted charities that get enormous exposure on the platform through, you know, the artist or, you know, celebrities, models, people that we do collaborations with. So that, you know, there's a lot of attention to it, and people can then adopt that charity into their own cashboard with saving goals, so that they can start, you know, saving money for that charity. So it just works as a circular situation. And yeah, I mean, there's so many things we can do in there. It's really a community. It's a network. It's an exchange of art with money attached to it. And, you know, it takes a village to live. It takes a village to go to college, basically. Like, imagine being in college and graduating with a student loan. Like, in Holland, we don't have such a concept. So
right.
For me, it's like, it's blowing my mind that, you know, you have to start your life with debt. And we felt this is a way, this is really a way to start saving to pay that off while you're already in college with the help of your friends. It's just, you know, like I said, it takes a village.
But I think that is so important, right? Because in our community, in the fashion community, we have the Vogue Foundation Awards. We have a lot of fundraising out there, but a lot of it is direct to business, right? It's celebrating one singular winner. This is actually, you're creating a platform for people who are like-minded, who love art, and curated by you. Basically, it's a digital magazine through your vision and through your eyes, and you and your husbands together. And we, as consumers, can join in and share that art with someone. Exactly. So instead of like Instagram, you simply share a photo. You get to share that photo attached with the message. And with money attached. And so guys out there, one thing that I have learned over the last 10 weeks being on this platform is that what I found is that everybody have a desire to help, and they don't know where. And I thought it's so important to mention that, not because they don't, you can always donate to your local charity and whatnot, but there's something emotional about donating to something that you have something tangible, the gratitude and the servitude that you can get through the process. And as creative artists, I think this is such an amazing platform, with what you're doing is that you're not just exposing the opportunity for people to donate, you're also curating photographers who wants their work to be seen, that Anna Winter will never see, but for someone who shoots for Vogue, someone like you with amazing credibility can really change careers for young photographers and artists out there.
Right. That's the idea. You know, that's what makes me so happy. Even on the Instagram, which my husband and I do the Double Dutch Instagram, we can finally like publish work by people we find, people we love, artists we love, young photographers, established people, just everything we're excited about. And on our own Instagram, it's very much geared towards our life and our work. But with the Double Dutch Cash Instagram, we're just so excited because we can just show everything we love, from furniture to to flowers, to art, to young photographers, to established people. And it's a dream, really. It is. And
Is
what's
it
wonderful.
opportunity? And as when I look at this platform, I just see the possibility for business expansion. Is it possibility for a vertical to have actual, let's say, amazing relationship here with Lady Gaga, that she would come in as a guest curator, or even donate her artwork because she's an artist herself.
That's one of the ideas. I mean, that is exactly it. It's having amazing people like her, create art for it, and reach people that way. And so there's make her own foundation known that way. And it's just super exciting. There's like a lot of opportunity. But the main thing is that the bottom line is, you have a friend, you love that friend, you want to give that friend something. What are you going to give that friend? You don't have to think about it anymore. You don't have to like gift gamble, as we say. You just choose a cool card on our platform, add the money and send it. Just say, I love you, done. Doesn't have to have a reason, doesn't have to be for anything specific if you don't want to. It's really about sitting together, wanting to do something good for each other and doing it. There's no, of course, there's birthdays, weddings, Christmas, office bonuses, anything that it could be used for. But, in the end, what we would love is that, on our platform, people go like, oh my God, you're my best friend. Here you go. I'm sending you $10 with this cool card by Richard Prince attached to it.
Incredible. Well, I think it's amazing that you're capable to create this platform without.
Well, we're with an amazing team of people. It's not just me and Vinoodh.
Well, what I was saying is that in order to get here, to even have the access to all the amazing artists, you had to work really hard to build your own reputation over the years. You've been in the industry for one of the longest long-lasting photographer industry. Not saying you're older, but longevity goes a long way. In fashion. I would love to inspire some of the audience out there, because when I got the opportunity to ask you on the show, when you said yes and I posted an announcement, I know there was a lot of young photographers out there, and a lot of my peers was, oh my God, you're going to talk to Inez? And the reason that reaction is not because you have a reputation of unapproachable reputation, but in fact that you are so highly praised and respected in our industry, and just be able to share the same platform at the same time. It's like sharing a page in a magazine together. I am incredibly honored. So I want to say that first.
So
but
fun.
But the people that are out there, I would love for them to get a little bit of history of some moments in your career that really become pivotal for you to become the person that you are today, and that you're able to create another platform for somebody else to be inspired. So let's jump right in. We know you've been working for a lot. I'd love to know, and for our audience to know, when was that first moment of that collaboration moment between you and your husband, and maybe it wasn't even a husband yet in the beginning in college? What do you remember that one moment you looked at each other and said, we're going to make a team?
Yeah, for sure. Well, my husband and I we're working together now since 1986, which was when I started in art school, and he had just graduated from Fashion Academy, where we had met. And he started his own line as a designer. So, and he asked me if I wanted to do the photos for his press and invitation and all that. This was in 1986. And let's say the first time we stepped in the studio together to create that one image for him, we kind of knew that we were meant for each other, and that we had a similar language for everything. And but then it still took 6 years before we sort of synchronized work and love life, in such a way that you could actually start dating. And that so that happened 6 years later. And, you know, we've been inseparable ever since. And we're, you know, at first it was still Vinoodh styling and me taking a picture, but like halfway through, Vinoodh was like, you know what, give me a camera too, and let's just shoot at the same time. And that's, you know, that's been happening, you know, for the past 20 years. And I think for us, what a big moment was our first publication in the Face magazine, which was in 1994, when we had just spent a year in New York City as artists in residence at PS1. And, you know, we had tried to get an agent, tried to get in the door with Interview magazine, with record labels, you know, but, you know, at that time, like, I was a very polite girl, and I would call up, you know, magazines, and I'd be like, oh, I'm Inez van Lamsweerde, I'm a Dutch photographer. And like halfway through, they would already hang up because they were like,
that's the world.
This is not working. This doesn't. And so then I learned that you just have to go, is Richard there? And then you get through. So, but all that's now, thank God, all the young photographers don't have to go through that again. But it, you know, we submitted an editorial to the Face magazine in London that then asked to buy it and published it. And this was in 1994, April 94. And our life changed dramatically. Yeah.
And that's one moment, one magazine,
one editorial.
You know, yeah. but Face, for those you guys out there don't know the magazine, please go on eBay and get all the old copy, because it was the quintessence. It's incredible what that magazine did for the vernacular of our industry. That's when London was popping like nowhere else in the world. But it was incredible that you were there at the right place at the right time for all the work that you put in.
Right? Yeah. You have to be lucky.
And I think that's true, right? In our business, I think over the years that we have not looked at luck and appreciate it. You have to be blessed, you have to have luck. But most importantly, you have to
know when it comes in front of you, right?
You have to be talented. Come on.
Yeah, talented and kind, and have, you know, a true interest in people. I think in my business, if you, at least for me, I love people. I love people, and I love looking at people even more than that I love talking to them. So it's ideal because I can get lost in, you know, the way someone's eye is set into their skull and the way the eyelashes go a certain way. I get very, very obsessed with very small details in people's faces. And, you know, that's what keeps me so fascinated, because every time I meet a new person, anyone, I actually forget what they're saying to me because I'm not paying attention. I'm just looking at their face and the way things are put together like a piece of art. And I get lost. I get completely lost in that.
We can see that, because the fact that story is great, because it makes total sense for viewers like me, for photographer like me. When we look at your work, we're always asking, how did you get there? And with the understanding that you got there because through pure curiosity, and the fact that and savoring that moment, right? It's truly that savoring that moment, capturing that moment. I know in our work and on set when we're working, a lot of time you'll hear creative director goes, oh, that's a moment. Oh, that's a moment. But that work is used so much. It's like there's way too many moments that's happening on the shoot.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's so important to capture that most authentic moment, right? How you process as an artist, and how do you see things? How do four eyes see together? How do you two see the world together?
You know, I mean, you know what? It's extremely relaxing to be with four eyes, because I know that if my eyes don't have it, his eyes have it. So it's really, really great. I recommend it to everybody because it's just wonderful. Like, we feel like, you know, the way we work is that, you know, the person that we're photographing gets most of the direction from me and sort of looks into my lens. So I get mostly the very aware pictures. Vinoodh, my husband, walks around the setup and shoots from different angles and gets like a more moody, a more melancholic kind of introvert version of the person because of that, but because they're really looking at me and at my lens with intent. It's a different kind of photograph than when I say, oh, just turn your head and look that way. It's just, there's a different feeling to it. And so in some cases, what he's doing works best for what we're looking for. In some cases, it's what I do that works best. And we share with each, we look at each other's, backs of the camera, and then, oh, you're looking at it like that. Okay, let's go that way. So it's just, you just do it together. And the editing process is the same. Like it's whichever one strikes us both in our heart as like, yeah, that's it.
The moment. But that's such a rare quality. I mean, for every career, that anybody who's couple working together for a singular art, there's always disagreement, there's always conflict in a way of finding that creative balance. Do you find that you guys continue to push each other to be better, or do you get just, oh, we know each other already? How do you make sure that you guys are not comfortable?
We are very competitive people. So, that's how you keep each other going, and, we're both extremely passionate about our work, and, that gets, strong feelings, strong emotions, and that's how we do it. And
there was never a scoreboard. There was never a scoreboard. How many pictures from one camera to the other?
No, that's not there, but it's definitely, we say, oh, well, good job. Or like we stimulate each other, and it's, we are not like, oh, I want only my picture to run or whatever, but you do want to do good. You want to be better for the other,
Well, it's incredible to watch you guys' career grow and how singular those images look, because there is a voice to that work that when you look at Inez van Vinoodh's work, you know it from 10 miles away. But what's very fascinating, interesting for me, because I came from advertising background, so I knew your work as a creative director. I'd seen your book, got caught into the agency.
I love it.
And it's interesting now as a photographer myself, when I look at your work, as I begin to understand from a creative director point of view, what I was looking for is that it doesn't matter it was shot in 1996, 2020, there's a singular voice that has not changed. You're one of the most consistent photographers out there that capture a moment that worked for you all the way throughout. Now, I'm speaking from a different generation of photography, that is, you try to be as malleable and flexible and really saying yes to the creative director, whatever they're looking for. How do you hold on to that signature of your work when all the noise is out there, want to do something different?
You're influenced always by what is going on around you. And especially I feel as a fashion photographer, it's all about the reaction. And that's what makes it exciting, is that it keeps changing all the time. But within the changing feeling that's in the air that you feel coming, you go with your heart, you go to what you love and what you want. And, it's, when it's a situation like you described, like with an art director or a client, where they want something very different from what you think is what it should be, you try to steer, people in a direction, and they're asking you for a reason. I mean, when people come to us, they know that we come with a lot of ideas, that we're not necessarily the people that you show a sketch and then we'll do that. We always, add on it, or people come to us with like, we have no idea what do you think we should be? And we love diving into the woman of a brand, and what is it that a designer is looking for to express with his brand or her brand, and how do we zone in on that and bring out the strength in it. And sometimes limitations are really good, and what we always say, like, look, we're doing as good as we can. It's always an Inez and Vinoodh picture. And, if a client really doesn't want to let us like go all out, then they're getting a good picture, but they missed the opportunity of, going full on. And, sometimes they're not ready or they don't want to. And then it's up to us to really still make something as beautiful as we could, and as appropriate for them. Because that's the other thing. You're it's work for hire. You're being hired to do your job. So you know, I remember when we started out in the 90s, you know, we were fighting all the way through. Even on editorials, you know, it'd be 4 a.m. and we still weren't sure about the hair, you know, but that's part, you know, that's part of the process. It's when you're young, starting out, you have to be very precise about what you're putting out there. And you have to, you're kind of shaving yourself, right? You're forming who you are, and you're doing that with your team. So it's teamwork. So it's intense. But now I feel like my husband and I keep saying to each other, you know what, we're taking that picture. So it's already an Inez and Vinoodh picture, and now let's make it even better.
But it takes time to get to the place that where it can say that's Inez Vinoodh picture, right?
Yeah.
I've been shooting for 17 years, going on 25, you know,
wow.
and I still, you know, but you know, the thing is that I still show up when creative director might say, oh, can you shoot more like Inez Vinoodh? Do you know the great background sweep? Can you do that? We hear that all the time for everyone. And there are days I'm like, why didn't you just call her? Or, okay, I can try to emulate that, but it's never going to be that because we don't have the same eyes and same visions. But, you know, when I look at your work, I know Irving Penn has such a huge influence on you. That you look at the romantic, you look at the classic, you look at Rembrandt paintings. I mean, because I art history trained from creative director's point of view. So when other creative directors would say, oh, I want you to do this, I always bring on, so you're asking me to shoot more like the David's painting. You're asking me to shoot more like the Western light. Because young generation don't talk like that. I'm sure you run into it. The young creative, it just says, oh, this is what's cool. I don't know who shot it, but I want this. But then you have to go, okay, you're looking at that's Sarah Moon. You like that backdrop because it's in nature, not because you just saw in Harper's Bazaar last month that somebody else created that, but that actually came from a process of Sarah Moon. Or and I think those kind of language is missing so much in our industry now, right? Because how many times you show up and somebody just scrub through the Instagram going, hold on, let me find a reference for you. Like, what do you mean? What? You just, it's not Tinder. You don't turn left and right.
Oh, it's cute.
You know what I'm saying? That's the part that still drives me crazy. Or a makeup artist says, well, show me a reference what you want. And then I'll find myself sitting there going, hold on, makeup artist on hashtag graphic eye. Okay. Right? This is the new world that we're in. It is so crazy. But I love that be able to see artists work like yours and say that's an artist's work because you have such a reference from the classic, from the well-respected. And now you're one of those. Now, do you often look at other work and go, oh, that's Inez Vinoodh 10 years ago. Oh, that person's referencing this work we've done.
I see it, you know, and it's been there always. And I mean, all that's fine. I mean, you have to be inspired and you have to inspire people. I feel that that's the exciting part. Like everyone now uses visual language, and I find that endlessly inspiring. But that said, of course, when you know, I mean, young people that say, "Oh, I was thinking about something nostalgic," and you know, and then their references are 90s, you know, and you know, I'm thinking
that just tell people that just saying we're old.
You know, yeah, exactly. I'm like, shit. You know, that's
nostalgic.
Sure, you know, and so
you should tell them the definition is for nostalgic. If you didn't find it on your digital device, then that's true nostalgia. If you can't find it on the Instagram post, that's nostalgia. Go find it in the library and some old paintings that you took.
Exactly.
But the way the fashion world has evolved and changed over this time, went from film to digital, and you evolved with this so effortlessly. What do you see as the next evolution for you guys?
A mist?
What do you think is the next iteration and evolution for your work?
I am, and of course, endlessly inspired by.
Hold on, the audio's a little. Hold on one sec. Let's make the audio better here. Hold on. It's still a little buzzy. I can't hear you.
Oh, wait. Is this good?
That's much better.
Better? Okay, good. So, you know, we're endlessly inspired by the movies. old ones, new ones, I think anything film, I think for us is a lot at the basis of what we do. So for us, going into a direction of film, maybe eventually a feature film would be extremely, extremely exciting. And just to have our aesthetic, enter and our sense of beauty and fashion, like enter Hollywood, and dialogue, and I think that is something we're craving for sure. And I'm actually extremely, extremely inspired by augmented reality as well, and playing with some ideas in that realm at the moment, and it's making me extremely excited. I think it has to do with our sense of surrealism that is very, very strongly present in most of our work, whether it's in like a tiny detail or in a very clear way. But I think the way augmented reality lends itself to a very interesting form of surrealism, to me, is super exciting.
Well, the world of last 20 years in photography stayed pretty consistent for 10 years, and things happen in our world that shapes it. For example, the Me Too movements, the concept of understanding to put more sustainable material on doing the production of your work. All those things keeps evolving, and you evolve effortlessly with it. But one thing I know that you never had to evolve or change is your kindness. Now, I got into this industry from an advertising perspective, and that was not a kind world at all. Like shark eats shark world. And then when I got into the fashion industry, I thought that was shark on top of shark world. It was like insanity. I want to know, what is it that makes you so grounded, and that the kindness has always been with you, and you were able to make it through with kindness? I think that's really important for young photographers out there to know that 20 years ago, I'm so sorry, like I have many experiences calling, model agencies, telling them I like to shoot their models. They'll be like, who are you again? Bye. Oh, most of the time they don't even say bye, they just hang up. I mean, I had situations, I was doing a huge casting, and we were casting one of your favorite models, like Karen Elson. We wanted her for this campaign. And at the time, there was so much money being thrown by this client, wanted her. And I was relatively unknown, but the advertiser knew me because I shot other brands that he knew. And there was in the tech world, I was doing like Apples and Coca-Cola, but he knew that I could translate that into fashion. So they trusted me. So during that casting process, when I called her agent 5 times in 1 week, they hung up on me every single time. So the very last time I told them, this is the budget we have. We're going to take care of her. She's going to be flown in. And the last thing I heard from this woman was, you're lying. Don't call again.
Oh, no.
And hung up the phone.
Poor Karen.
Poor Karen.
Missed out.
Karen and I actually have worked together since, and we have revisited that situation, but that's on her, not her agent, not on me. But that's kind of crazy that we have in the industry, and that's kind of, I work with one of the toughest human being on earth, was Peter Arnell. I don't know if you know Peter Arnell.
No, I don't know. I've heard stories, but
So all of them are true. I was a creative director within his agency for many, many years that people didn't realize. I was working with New York team. I had an LA office team here. And one thing I learned from him was not to do what he does, which was the meanest, craziest energy that he has. But one thing he taught me is this. He would scream and yell at his staff. He would scream and demand what he wants for the client. Everything's for the good intention. Let's just put it that way. However, he never ever screamed at the creative or the models or the talent. And he would tell me this. He was like, I don't care if you scream and yell for money. I don't care if you scream and yell for people being on time. I don't care who you yelled at. Just don't ever scream and yell at the creative. So I was on the creative side, so I never got yelled at.
No. Oh my God, no. I mean, to me, this is my life. In normal situations, we shoot almost every day. Every day we're on a set with people, with, there has to be good food, good music. We can't, spend our days yelling and screaming and being stressed out and, and in that kind of an environment. So we try to create, you know, a place where it's easy, it's fun, it's fast. You know, we just try to make the flow as mellow as possible, but, you know, and take care of people. And I think that's what it's about. Like for us, if the day wasn't an amazing day together, then the photo has no meaning. Then it doesn't work, you know. Then, you know, why bother? It's not open heart surgery, you know. It's only fashion, you know.
Well, I think that message is so important now more than ever, right? And with the climate that we're in now, kindness rules over over craziness and demandingness and all the
lives.
But that didn't come easy either. I mean, we know the behavior of different photographers out there. We know all the photographers who need to adjust. I myself included when I talk about behavior adjustments, because as a young photographer, I probably said many things. I did said many things and behaved many different ways that's not appropriate today. However, there are still photographers out there behaving the same way that they think is the only way. And that's what's really, really crazy to me. So 3 years ago, when the Me Too movement came down and Condé Nast lost 15 photographers, Harper's Bazaar lost 20 photographers that they always work with. Yeah. And I thought that was such a defining moment all over again for you and your husband, because we always ask, how come you don't shoot more Vogue covers? Like, as photographers, we're influenced by your work, we love your work. How come they're not doing more of this? How come they're not doing more of that? Well, there's 15 photographers been there longer, or whatever relationship they have. And when the 15 were gone, there was one left. It was you and Vinoodh, you know?
You know, it's kind of, you know, at that point, there was some sort of excessive feeling about fashion and about the world that it stood for. And we were never really in it for that reason. We are in it, you know, for the beauty of it all, and for the people that we meet, and the you know, the incredible opportunity of seeing the world, you know, through your lens with an incredible human being in front of you. And it just isn't, it was never about that. It was never about, you know, all that sort of excessive stuff. And, you know, it seemed at some point that fashion was sort of synonymous with that. And I think, you know, call me boring, but that was never what we were in for. And we just wanted to work hard and make incredibly beautiful stuff and look at an insanely gorgeous person all the time. And we felt lucky that that was our work. So it never really occurred to us to do it any other way, or to be, you sort of, you know, to get into that vibe. So
so being nice can win the race.
Exactly. Be nice for sure. I think it's all you need, really. And
but it is a trickle-down effect. I do feel like, as a photographer, is when you earn the place where you are in your industry, and when you are the leader of your camp, when people come in,
work hard.
You just work hard, and people will have to adjust, and people will have to adjust. I know for my own growth, that as I evolve, as I change how I run my set, the people that surrounds me who appreciate it definitely let me know. People who didn't like me the 10 years ago me comes back, and they're like, we like this version of you better. And I think that's okay. I think it's almost that we're learning along this process. And I do find it very fascinating, because when I work, same thing, that reason I used to yell and scream all the time, because I don't want to see anybody else but the talent in front of me. And I was always so tunnel vision that my assistant, it's always on my left side, because I'm left-hand dominant, and I will always just pull the camera to the left and walk away. I don't even know they're gonna catch it or not, but for 5 to 10 years, I literally would just go, and then the camera falls on the floor, you're gone. But that camera has never dropped on the floor. I have really good assistants. Because I literally don't even see my assistant. I don't see the art director. I don't see the hair, makeup. I just like, everybody, let me have this moment, and I want to treasure this moment. Only it's my moment with her, not the creative director anymore. You guys all have your say, you know, and that's part of getting into that zone of crazy, because then you get wrapped up in your own head that this is your own moment. All of a sudden, like, you become Tourette. You're like, I need the light going this way, and I've done that when I'm yelling for something and I turn around, there's nobody there. Everybody went to lunch already. I'm still staying there shooting. You know, because you get so
there's a
television.
there.
But I love the story to knowing that kindness will win, and I think that's what's happening now. And you see so many young photographers come up, and you see so many of them are just at the edge of every single client of yours. How do you stay confident, stay true to who you are, and still celebrate young photographer who want to be the next Inez van
Oh
Vinoodh?
my God. You know what? I love seeing young photographers work, and I love when I find a really good one. I'm so excited, you know, and I'm like, you know, take that one because it's amazing, and let's go. And it just really, I don't know. I don't have that anxiety. We're just doing what we do the best as we can with the most fun as we can have. And I've seen by now so many people come around, come up, disappear, stay around. I always say, like, you know, there's actually room for everyone if you look at it over, you know, now that I can look back at a career of 30 years, you know, I see it. I see people that are still shooting or that have gone from one thing in a completely different direction and are like super happy working in that way. And I always say there's room for everyone. You know, it doesn't matter. I understand when you're young, you're really, you know, you feel super competitive, and it's part of your energy, right? Is to criticize things and to be, you know, sort of like, you know, like you want to be the best and you want to be the first and you want to get there. And that you need that. But, you know, at the point where we're at, where we just feel, you know what, we're giving it our all. When we show up on the set, we're doing as good as we can. And that's it. You know, we have fun.
I feel like it's such a privilege for us to be in this industry. It really
Oh,
is
it's
such
fantastic.
an incredible
Oh,
privilege. And
it's the best place because it's, you know, like I said, it's you kind of invent someone's life all the time, because when you, at least when it's fashion, like you you kind of make a little character. You're like, you're projecting all your ideas about who you want to be at this moment on the girl in front of you and on what she's wearing. So I think it's you know, clothes have such an incredible language. And, you know, to me, that is so important. And I think that also maybe sets us apart a little, is that, you know, if we don't like the shoes, it's really difficult to get inspired, like, you know, and then it's like, can she please wear a different shoe? Because I understand the character better if she wears that shoe as opposed to that one. And then I can get into her body language, then I can get into the lighting, then it all sort of follows from there. We're very, very, very inspired by the clothes as well as of course, as the model, but
right.
you know, the clothes really give it, you know, that initial spark of like, you know, it's that character and she likes this and she's doing that. And so her hair is like this. It just sort of all sort of becomes the whole package in the end. But most of the time it's the clothes that started.
But do you feel like now with where the climate we are today, do you think the fashion world is beginning to look inward and say that and recognize and able to say we needed more inclusion in the
Oh
picture?
yeah.
We don't we why are we only have one black model
Yeah.
in every 12 months?
Why? But why?
I ask those questions all the
Oh my God.
time. And in
I
a
have no
position
idea.
where you're in now, and in such a powerful position in the industry, do you feel that you can help to move that meter?
Yes, I think so. I think this is what is actually incredible about what's happening right now. Um, it's now literally on everyone's radar. Like, there is not a single person in the world that doesn't know what's going on right now. And I feel that is like this incredible opportunity to actually move forward and move towards much more inclusive way of working. And in choice of models, in choice of talent, in choice of designers, everything. And I think I feel like incredibly uplifted and actually inspired, you know, in spite of all the terrible things we are seeing that are happening and that have happened, that all of a sudden now come to the surface, thank God. but it's the moment. It's really the moment to start,
And
saying,
we're seeing these corporations that are actually understanding now. Edward being at Vogue UK, putting a stamp on his voice from an African American Black man's voice. That when he put his first issue out, I have tears because as a minority, I know through the last 15 years of fighting in the world of fashion, inclusion is such a language that which nobody just talk about. And I remember, those emails that you write the agents, like, give me 10 Black models to choose from. We only have one. I'm like, why? Because we only need one, right? That was the mentality. And I hope that this moment in time, and I don't hope, actually, I know, like you, that there's no longer a choice. We are now putting Japanese, Aya, in a position of Marie Claire US. We're putting people who are minority in a position that hope will move that meter, because it does start from it starts from there. And my biggest thing is hire minorities, guys.
100%.
Hire minority photographers, hire minority crew, hire a team of people, because they bring so much history and diverse point of view, and they influence the air that you're in. And I don't know about 30 years in the business, we go roller coasters, right? There are years you're like, oh my God, I'm on top of the ride. And they're like, am I going to work again tomorrow? We all go through that. And I remember this time, during a time where body positivity was not even in anybody's vocabulary. I started shooting Kate Upton. And I recall those times so raw, because literally the bully that came from the agency side, came from the industry, basically saying that I'm not a photographer because I shoot curvy girls. You're never going to get into fashion because you shoot girls who are not size 0. And I know you guys were never like that, because I watch your work and look at your work, and you embrace all that. And I hope now with the social media positioning, for being where you guys are at in your career, that you can use your power to push back. It wasn't, to be honest, Inez, it wasn't until I realized that with the followers I have, I can make a difference. I can insist that, why can't we have an Asian model and a Black model and shoot them on the cover together for Harper's Bazaar, Singapore, in Asia? Why can't we? And we did. Those are the moments that I celebrate more. That's it. And I hope, and I see it. I see in Teen Vogue, right?
Happening.
We see Black women in charge of Teen Vogue, making decisions and waves. And that's what I hope for throughout all this, truly.
This is the opportunity of a lifetime. It's incredible. It's the moment where now, it's in everyone's face, and it's undeniable.
And number one most influential person in our industry is Pat McGrath. How many people out there in the beauty world know Pat McGrath is a Black woman who's been doing this silently, quietly for all these years with Stephen Mazel? All I want the industry to do is just celebrate her Blackness. And this is the woman who's been doing it. None of us in this industry could be where we're at without the talent of Pat McGrath pushing the beauty industry, right? That's what we need to continue to celebrate. I wish there were more Black photographers out there. When I started this talk show, I reached out to Black photographers. I try to find them. There's no agency representing Black photographers. Why not?
There is.
There is now.
You should look at Girl Gaze.
I know that one. Yes.
Girl Gaze. Girl Gaze has, first of all female photographers, but an incredible amount of talented, amazing Black photographers. And I think Amanda de Cadenet, who started she's incredible.
Incredible human.
She's so smart, and she is, her whole thing is inclusivity and diversity on every level: body, shape, size, skin, all of it. So
and her work in making awareness of trafficking in the business, she's incredible. She's actually agreed to come on the show to talk about this as well.
If anyone's looking for incredible Black creative, it's all there at Girl Gaze.
And I know that we're going to see that in the curation of Double Dutch as well, because you guys have always embraced that. And I think that's so important. It's not just what we put in front, right? It's not just it's not one Ottawa, there's more than one. There's no one more than
Well, I was
one
pretty
Whitney
special.
House. She, but yes, she actually opened. She did open the doors of conversation, and she's continuing to do that. And I think that's because in the I guess for me, that fashion world, what we get to do is curate what the world sees. And I don't think it's never been so, it's never been so important than ever.
Incredible. Yeah.
That what we do have and responsibilities, not just opportunities, right? Responsibilities.
That's it. That's
it. You know, last 10 years, we definitely see the cultural changes with Kardashians on the cover of Vogue, and people fought that conversation, right? Yeah. We have all different conversations happen. What the most important conversation is like all those sensationalized conversation of celebrity or no celebrity on the cover, or a curvy girl, not curvy girl. Right now, what I love, all those are the same. They have one singular voice: human beings, diversity, inclusion. Look at that first. Look at the message what the person portrays. And then everything else is secondary to me. It truly is. And I'm fortunate enough to be able to say that I get to choose this moment that I want to capture that. And as photographers, I think we are responsible to make sure this is the time we're going to look back and say, what did you do with your work to be part of this?
You're so right.
Pivotal moment.
It's essential. And you know what? It's a brilliant moment for people to start looking around them a little bit more, you know, and start seeing who's there, who can I shoot that actually tells this other story, you know. And it's not so just like, oh, the 10 girls only that are in American Vogue are the ones that are working. It just is a fantastic moment for seeing like who else is there, you know. It's brilliant.
Well, thank you so much, Inez. Thank you, and your counterpart, your husband. Thank you guys so much for being the kindest and the most influential photographer that have always inspired me so much when I see your work, because it does put a smile on my face. And that's the honest truth, right? And I'm the #1 guilty photographer to say, I want to shoot that picture in this shot in 1994. I want to recreate that my own way. So if you ever see that, I thank you for the influence and thank you for the teaching, because it's such incredible. It's such an incredible confidence to be able to put your work out there and let the young photographers follow, and even so important is this conversation, knowing that you don't have to be an asshole to be in fashion. That might be 10 years ago, maybe 20 years ago.
Yeah, or maybe longer. I don't know. I feel like I actually think there are much less assholes in fashion than that there are incredibly beautiful, wonderful, and kind and adorable people in it. So it's a different thing than most people perceive.
Well,
thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you guys for listening in. And don't forget, check out Double Dutch on Instagram. It's also on Inez van Vinoodh at Instagram at Double Dutch Cash. And what an amazing initiative! And sign up on the wish list. They'll contact you when the site launches. And thank you, and have a great week. And I hope we continue talking, because I have your number. I know how to get hold of you. And thank you for being such a positive force in our industry.
Thanks for everything. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, guys, that was Inez. Well, half of Inez van Vinoodh. What an inspiring photographer. If you don't know her work, and you should, open up Vogue anytime. She is one of the most celebrated photographers of our time. Classic, beautiful, all the way from inside out. So I'm so honored today to be able to speak to her. And you guys have a wonderful week. I will be back again tomorrow at 2 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Eastern time. Until we see each other again. Bye, guys.